speak on the topic, this changing world. We'll discuss changes that are taking place in different spheres of our life. In the sphere of economy, in the sphere of family relationships, ecology, in the sphere of science and genetically modified food in particular. This is the topic that we are supposed to discuss. And then the final item of the program is your place in this changing world. But before we start speaking on the topic, this changing world, I'd like you to speak on the following quotation by John Goldsworthy, a well-known English classical writer. If you do not think about the future, you cannot have one. Please, I'd like to listen to your ideas. How could you interpret, what is your vision of this problem? How could you interpret this idea? Please, girls.
Well, I agree with this statement. I think the author wanted to tell us about the most significant thing which helps us to reach the tops about education. In our modern world, a great number of students have bad knowledge, and that results in their bad marks. As a result, they can't pass exams, and they have to find a job which is usually low paid. As a result, they can't have a good future because of lack of intelligence, lack of money,
lack of education.
Yes, I think it helps. It happens when people don't want to work harder and to realize themselves in this world.
All right, okay, please.
So I absolutely agree with everything that was said, but I don't really think that it's only about upbringing or education, because I think that this statement can be used for the whole of our life. I mean, I think that future means your ambitions. So if you have a goal and if you are ready to be responsible for achieving this goal, it means that you think about your future, because if you don't want to work hard and if you don't know what you want to do in the future, that's really bad for you, because it means that you just live for nothing. And I think that you should always know your goals, you should always know what things you should do for achieving these goals, etc. And furthermore, I think that all of us should create something that will live after their death.
Are your goals mostly materialistic or non-materialistic?
I can't be sure at all, but I think that my goals are mostly non-materialistic, because of course I think that it is really important to have your own place in the society, to have a well-paid job, to have I don't know, some materialistic values, but I think that something that is inside us, something that is connected with our souls, with our spirits, is more important for us, because sometimes there are some situations when we have to face with death, or with some problems that aren't connected with something materialistic. And we realize that the only thing that we have in this world is ourselves and our soul. And so I think that we should always know what is inside us.
All right.
We should care more about our soul than about something that's outside.
Monica, by having it helps.
As for me, I think my goals are mostly materialistic, because I want to have a successful future and I want to get education. So I need money to do it. Besides, I want to get good education, and I need money to do it too.
Yes. Education is becoming more and more expensive.
Yes.
All right.
Well, I think that the most important goal in my life is non-materialistic. It is to achieve happiness, to achieve harmony inside me. But I think that I cannot achieve it without non-materialistic things. So I need money to be happy. I need a well-paid job, which I like, and I think that non-materialistic goals cannot be without some materialistic things.
So it's a combination of both.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. Any other ideas? Honey, please.
I'm not materialistic because I
I think that happy family and good friends are more important in life than money and career. But many people are bent on success and are very materialistic. They pursue power and money. Financial security and social prestige are their ultimate goals.
Yes, all right. And for some Russians nowadays, these are also ultimate goals. And more Russians are joining this category of people. Yes, they are becoming more money-oriented. All right, Sveta.
Okay, I think that my goals are mostly non-materialistic because it's far more important to me to what happens in my mind, in my soul. So I have some goals, just like having a happy family. So this is a non-materialistic goal. But you know, sometimes if you want to become happy, you need money because without money, no one will live a happy life because we all need to eat food and live in a good place. That's why we need money, and so I want to have a wealthy job, but the job I will be interested in.
All right. Any other ideas? Dasha?
In my opinion, we live in a very materialistic society, and today people are obsessed with the idea of making more money. But many young people reject materialistic values, and for me, the main thing in my life is to be in harmony with myself, to realize myself in something.
All right. Okay. What is a happy life for you? This question is closely related to the quotation. What is a happy life for you? Tonya, please.
A happy life for me is to realize myself, because happiness is inside us, and it is very important to be in harmony with myself. But I think also money is very important for me, because if I have enough money, I can do everything. I can enjoy my life, I can live where I want, and I can do what I want.
Okay, all right. Dasha, are you an ambitious person?
I don't know for sure, but I think that ambitions is very important, because ambitions induce us to action and don't let us stay on place.
All right. Yes. What about you, Sarah?
I think it depends on my mood. Sometimes I can be very ambitious to try to do everything to achieve some goals, but sometimes I just want to stay in my bed and lay all day, or just go for a walk. So
Do you like to stand out in a crowd?
Sometimes, but not always.
You don't like to be in the public eye?
Yes.
You're rather more. Well, what is the difference between an ambition and a dream? An ambition and a dream. Lisa? Sveta? Lisa, please.
Okay, so I think that both an ambition and a dream are really important for all people. But I think that the difference between an ambition and a dream, that when you have an ambition, it means that you have a goal and you know how to achieve this goal, and what is more, you are ready to be responsible for everything that will be in the end. Maybe you can achieve your goal, maybe not, but you are ready for this. And a dream, it's just like you want something. Maybe it can be something really impossible for people, just to fly away somewhere and, I don't know, to become a really successful singer, even if you can't sing at all. Something like that. And you don't know how to achieve this goal, and maybe you just don't think about this because that's just a dream, and it needed to come true. But I think that sometimes your dreams can turn into your ambitions. When you are ready to work hard and when you know how to achieve them, it means that your dream became your ambition. And I think that's the situation that is really well for everyone, because when we can create ambition from the dream, it means that we are really ambitious and we are ready to work hard.
All right, Stella, please.
Okay, of course I agree with Lisa, but an ambition is something that you want and you can achieve, and a dream is something that you only want. For example, maybe I want to fly or I want to live on the Caribbean islands, but I know that it's practically impossible for me, and I cannot achieve it now. But sometimes I would like to have my head in the clouds and to imagine that I'm sunbathing on these Caribbean islands, and this is really cool.
To live the dream world.
And this is unnecessary to achieve this dream.
Yeah. All right. Dasha, please.
It seems to me that the difference is that ambitions lead to materialistic goals, and dreams lead to non-materialistic goals, and that's the difference, I think.
Yes. All right. Yeah.
In my opinion, there is no difference between ambition and a dream, because I think ambition is like some part of a dream. When you dream about something, you make some ambitions which you want to achieve. And I agree with this letter because people dream about things sometimes which are impossible, and that's why I think it's a problem of mankind.
Yes, it may turn into a tragedy.
Yes.
All right, Dunya, did you want to say? No, nothing. Any other ideas? All right, and the last point. Thomas Merton, an American philosopher, said, "When ambitions end, happiness begins." When ambitions end, happiness begins. So, what do you think he means by that? Do you agree or disagree? Please.
For me, happiness is a freedom. So it means that if you're happy, you're free.
Or vice versa. Freedom is happiness.
Yeah, maybe. But if people stay high, if they have money, they have power, they have less freedom than people who have nothing.
They're more dependent.
Yes,
Right.
they're more dependent on the opinion of others, people, or something else. And it means that they're less happy than people who do not have anything. They have nothing to lose.
Right. Right.
So,
absolutely. Sveta?
Well, first of all, I wanted to say that ambitions never end. So in my opinion, when people achieve one goal, they find another. And so this is an endless process.
Yes, well, one ambition is a stepping stone towards another, and then again, again, again.
Maybe the author says that happiness begins before the death of the man, but I disagree with it, because people are, there are some moments when people feel happiness, and these moments cannot last forever. So happiness is a strong feeling, and you can feel it very often, and even if you didn't achieve your goal. During your way to success, you can feel happiness, and so it's okay.
All right, okay. Please, Kathy.
Well, I think the author is quite right, because nowadays we have a really stressful life. We don't have time to connect with our relatives, with our friends, and we have to solve a lot of problems. Sometimes we have to live in a tight budget and so on. But when we retire, some people say that I'm happy because I'm not fussy.
Yes. Very philosophical comment.
For me, ambitions mean our own work, and when people stop to work, they become to think about themselves, and they start to travel, they start to live for themselves. And so I think that this idea can be true only in the West, because in our country, people, if they they work until their death, but in the West, people, when they
have some period of time to enjoy their life before they are born, yes?
Yes.
This is what you mean. Okay. All right. Anya?
I disagree with the statement because I think that it's necessary to set goals and reach them. Ambitious people are happy because they know their mind, they
Natanya, I think it's important to have ambitions, but not necessary. When you don't have them, you live like on the wave. You don't have problems because you don't think about nothing. You just live and enjoy this life.
All right, okay. Lisa? Oh,
First of all, actually, I don't think that it's not necessary to have ambitions, because if you do not have ambitions, people who have, they just rule you, and they're like your bosses. Because
you're like a puppet.
Yeah, for them. And personally, I can't agree with this statement because, okay, if we agree with this statement, it means that our ambitions is our way to the top. And when, in the end, when we achieve something, happiness begins. But I don't think so, because for me, this way is happiness. Because I think that I agree with the statement that our life is moving. And I think when you move, when you are ready to do something, when you can realize yourself more and more and more, it is happiness. Because I think that the end result can't be happy at all. Because, okay, I did something and I create something. What should I do now? Should I do something else? Or should I just stop? I don't know, because I think that when you can move, it means that you are happy. And I think that ambitions are really important for us, because it helps us not only achieving our goals, but realize ourselves, learning something about ourselves, I don't know, learning something about other people and the world that is outside us. And I think that when our ambitions end, it means that our life ends and we can die.
All right. Okay. So you want to add something, please?
I think that it is very similar with Buddhism.
Oh.
When they think that nirvana is when you don't want anything. So
because you are happy.
Because you are happy. That when you are fully happy, when you absolutely happy.
Yes, but as far as I know,
you have no dreams, you have no ambitions, you have no goals, and you're happy.
What is the point of this life? As far as I
It
know,
depends on the religion. The religion is
yes,
different.
but these people just doing nothing.
Yeah, they're doing nothing. They're just
they're happy.
Contemplate about the
I can't
future.
understand this really.
Yes. Okay. All right. And now the second part of our today's lesson is different spheres of our life and how they are changing. So everything is changing. Yes, life is changing, culture is changing, the economy is changing, the political life in countries is changing. So everything is changing. Now, before we start discussing, talking on the topic of this changing world, I'd like you to speak on different levels countries are situated in. So, you know that there are highly developed countries, developing countries, and least developed countries. And I'd like you to tell everyone about the differences in the lives of these countries and whether the least developed countries are less happy than highly developed countries. Do you understand what I'm talking about? All right. So, the values, living standards of highly developed countries, what are they? Highly developed countries. Just very brief characteristics.
Okay. First of all, highly developed countries. The economy in these countries is on a very high level, and the main sector of this economy is the service sector. And people work in these service sectors, so they work in business, and they have access to all kinds of mass media. So they can get information from different magazines, from television, and the internet. Medicine is also very developed in this country, so people feel really safe. And they know that if they get a curable disease, they in highly developed countries, all people have a good shelter, they have food to eat and fresh water. So, in my opinion, average life expectancy in these countries is the highest in the world.
All right. You have mentioned these cool gadgets that people living in highly developed countries have. On the other hand, there is the backside of this problem, because parents in the United States and Western Europe have to control the programs their offspring watch when they are not in, when they are absent. And this is on the money side, yes? Yeah, they have a broad variety of programs, but on the other hand, the children should be controlled. The programs should be censored by parents. Lisa?
Yes, I think that for every plus there is a minus, and highly developed countries have their dark sides. I mean, first of all, people from these countries live in the society of consumption, and another problem is a dysfunctional family. It means that there are some families that don't function
properly. They don't function. Yes. Now, least developed countries. Highly developed countries, I would like you to speak on the economy of highly developed countries and least developed countries. What do people who live in least developed countries lack? What can you say about infant mortality rates, living standards in these countries? So, have you got any ideas? Please, Karina.
So, in less developed countries, I think that in some situations people are more happy than...
people are happier?
People are happier, yes, than in the highly developed countries, because they have no electricity, they have no some gadgets.
They don't have to pay for all of that. They do not need much money.
Yes, they have not need too much money. Yes, and they have no some laptops and mobile phones, and they can connect with each other without telephones. And I think that it's better than...
Yes, they live closer.
Yes, they live closer to each other. For example, in Africa, they live in some village, I don't know how to say, in some villages, and they live together, and they help to solve some problems of each other. I think that it's better.
It's better. Tonya, please.
But there people are suffering very much because they don't have an access to adequate food, good shelter, a decent job, healthcare. Malnutrition is common and it leads to massive famine. And many people die from preventable diseases such as smallpox, for example.
Yes.
And also it makes people very unhappy. And
very happy or unhappy? Very unhappy. Yes. All right. Lyra, please.
I agree with Tonya. I don't think that people are happy in the least developed countries. They don't have nothing.
But they don't have anything.
Anything.
But if you do not have anything, you won't lose anything.
I don't know. But I think that we are much happier than them.
We should keep to the happy medium. Yes, we just have the sense of proportion between materialistic, non-materialistic values, etc. And it does not necessarily mean that if you live in a least developed country, you are unhappy. And on the other side, on the contrary, if you live in a highly developed country, you are absolutely happy. Do you agree with me?
Yes.
Polina?
So I want to add that we live in a modern society, our country, and I think that we live more quickly than in least developed countries. Yes, and I think that we have no time for some different simple things. For example, joys. Yes, joys. For example, go for a walk, because we always do something. We always search for in the
surf the web.
Surf the web, yes, and we always maybe call the phone and etc.
All right.
So about happiness, I wanted to say that I think that if we place a man from a highly developed country to the least developed country, of course he will feel unhappy. But if we place a man from the least developed country to a highly developed country, he will also feel unhappy because he won't understand what happens in this world. He doesn't know anything about the internet and about all kinds of technologies. So he will get lost, and it will be very hard to him to get used to this.
All right, he's not used to these living standards. He wants to go back to the tribe he lived in before. Please.
I actually wanted to say that the fact that people who are from the third world, they die from the malnutrition, but that's just the price they pay for happiness or what? I think that they say that people from the third world are happy because they can enjoy different things that we can't enjoy in our Greek society. But I don't think so, because people from the third world, they just have no time for enjoying. They have time for working hard, because they need to get some food, to get some fresh water, because a lot of children are dying from malnutrition, from different curable diseases that we could prevent if we lived in highly developed countries. And they have no time for connecting with each other, like, oh, you're my brother because we live in the same society. That's not right, because they have relationships that can help them to provide some safety, some shelter, something else to I forget this word, but to be alive, okay.
Hi.
Yes, and I think that, of course, they live in their society, they don't know another life, and sometimes they can be happy, but I think that there are a lot of things that could be necessary for them, and I think that we could help them at all by international cooperation, but by something else like that. I think that there are a lot of people in the modern world who just close their eyes and they tell that, yeah, that's the third world, but what can we do? We can do a lot of different things, and I think that we must.
All right, good. Now, we have analyzed the economic situation in highly developed countries, briefly in developing countries, and in least developed countries. Now, I'd like you to speak on the following. Family relationships in highly developed countries, developing countries, and least developed countries. What is the role of the family? Do people in poor countries and in the rich countries and prosperous societies, do they have the same family problems, or are their problems different? Well, first of all, the role of a family. What is the role of the family? What do we need a family for? Please? You?
Okay, so I think that nowadays the role of the family is very important
Yes.
for me. Yes, and I want to have a happy family. I want to have my dearest and nearest healthy and happy. And I don't know this situation in the highly developed countries or in the least developed countries, because I live in a developing country. And so, but I know that there is a problem in our society because there are many urban citizens, and they think that their goals are materialistic, and they don't think about their families. And
they have no time for their families, maybe.
Yes.
Or often they just not have time for the families.
They can even not have families.
Yes, they have no time for families. Yeah.
But I try to mix my family into my goals. So my family is important for me.
Yes, all right. Speaking about modern family, we can't but ignore the fact that there are different forms of abuses in the family, like the child battering, wife battering, drug abuse, alcohol abuse, emotional neglect. I'd like you to concentrate on emotional neglect because this is the abuse which is hard to prove. Yes, hard to prove, but what does it mean? Emotional neglect in the family. Dasha, please.
The basic requirements of life are food, water, shelter, but people need to feel that they are loved and that they belong to a family or a group. And an abusive family keeps its children at a level where they can get shelter and food, but lack of love, attention, and communication needs to feel them that they are isolated and
they are neglected,
to feel lonely and despair.
All right, what is the way out? So we come to school, what for? What do you come to school for? What do you want to get here? Knowledge, education, a school leaving certificate, communication with your peers. What do you come to school for? Probably all these aspects are true. Well,
So actually, I come to school because I have no choice, but yes. But there are some children that are suffering from emotional neglect, and they don't have relationships with their parents or with their relatives, and they can't learn how to build strong relationships, and they just want to be the toughest guy in the class because they think that they can reach something from this, and they want to be loved, they want other people to respect them, and I think that sometimes they can turn to different awful things like violent gangs or something else like that. Join violent gangs or something else like that, because they just want to feel that they are a part of something and that they are important for this world and they can create something or do something. And it's not always good things. Sometimes it's really bad things. And I think that it's because nowadays family units have been really seriously eroded by drugs, by alcohol, by physical abuse, but mostly by emotional neglect. Because
in our country, we are speaking about our country as well, not only about highly developed, less developed
yes,
countries. Yes,
I think that's the problem of the whole world. Maybe not of the countries that are from the third world, but the modern world suffer from this.
Yes, please.
I don't know really why this problem exists, because I think that if people have children, they must have the responsibility for provide them a successful future and a successful today. I don't know how to say.
Present?
Yes, a successful present. Yes, thank you.
So is the number of dysfunctional families suffering from emotional neglect increasing in Russia, in modern Russia?
Yes.
Is it increasing?
Yes, it's increasing.
Due to the economic situation, due to the political situation in the country.
Yes, and Lisa said that if children can satisfy their love for their families, the end result will be that they join to a violent gang.
They join a violent gang, yes. Right, and they have frequent nightmares and anxiety. Yes. They have to suppress their tears. Right. Please, yeah.
Speaking about Russia, I think it's a developing country, and that's why sometimes parents set restrictive rules and impossible goals to their kids. And the result will be the same. Our home is like a battlefield. We suppress our tears, we hold in the anger, and feel self-criticism.
And feel self-criticism, yes. Dasha?
But I think that it is easy to solve this problem, because in the hustle and bustle of the city, I don't think it is very difficult just to come to your parents or to your child, if you are a parent, and say, hey, look at me, I'm close to you, I want to talk to you, I want to hear you, tell me about yourself, about your problems. And I think that everyone can do this, and that's not too difficult to do it.
But there is a will, there is a way. If parents want to establish contact with their kids,
they want to.
They will do.
It sounds really easy, but no one does it.
Well, I don't know. Why don't you have children if you do not want to see them at home?
It's common practice to have children. So, if you have a family, so you're likely to have children, 1, 2, or 3. Yeah, it depends. But parental job is a very hard job. You have to work every minute, day after day, year after year. And you should do everything possible not to lose contact with your parent, with your child. Yes? And if it happens, so the problem of generation gap comes and is evident, quite evident. All right, very briefly, very short of time. So, ecological problems in highly developed countries and developing countries, are they the same? On the whole, what ecological problems do we have?
The greenhouse effect.
The greenhouse effect, air pollution, water pollution, energy crisis. What? Energy crisis, yes, that's right. Probably people
The
believe...
holes in our ozone layers.
Yes, the depletion of the ozone layer. That's right. Probably people who live in least developed countries, they do not have air pollution to the extent people who live in highly developed countries have. Yes? It's natural because they do not have industry. Yes, and if we speak about energy prices, this is one of the most urgent problems of nowadays. What are the pluses of nuclear energy and what are the minuses? What is on the plus side? Because our fossil fuels are running out in several decades. What are the pluses of energy?
I think there's nuclear power, but some people say that the nuclear power is a real alternative to fossil fuels.
Yes.
But
what is on the plus side? Why? Is it cheap?
Is it cheap? Yes.
It is cheap.
It is cheap, yes, but the rules are very strict to use it. And
yes, rules and safety regulations, the nuclear power plants, everything is under control.
That nuclear power is a very, very dangerous because speaking about nuclear power, we can't but mention some accidents. For example, the Chernobyl,
the Fukushima,
yes, in Japan. And so I think that it's very dangerous and many people can be evacuated and some livestock will be born deformed.
All right, okay, what is the way out? Because we need energy. So what is the way out for people? Please.
We have alternative sources of power such as wind power, wave power, tidal power, because it can be very convenient for us to use it. And also these sources last forever.
Yes, and they're friendly to nature. Which of them can be used here in Siberia, in Novosibirsk region? Which of them?
Not solar energy.
Not solar, but we think it's impossible. Wind power, maybe wind power. No wave power, no tidal power, because they don't live on the
winds do not always blow.
Yes, okay. Sun does not always shine, wind does not always blow. Yes, so these are the minuses. All right. And the last question, we're running short of time. Your place in this changing world. So, what do you want to achieve? In what way would you like to help people? Maybe to help nature? Whatever, please.
Well, for me, the main value is to help people. That's why I'm going to become a surgeon, because I think all people should help each other, but nobody does it. And if we have some people who help us, I think we will live longer and we will be prosper.
And happier, yes, and prosper. All right, Sida?
First of all, I want to become a very strong personality, and you
I understand all people and I can put myself in other people's shoes. So that's why I realized that now our society has so many problems and we have to solve them. And in the future I want to become someone who will try to do it. And so, in my opinion, helping other people is the main point in my life.
Are you ready for volunteer work?
Maybe, but not volunteer. Maybe it will be politics or something.
Okay. All right. Anya, please.
In the future, I want to be a doctor, and
A medical doctor, yes?
Yes, and I want to help people, and I think that it's good.
Are you ready to do this unpaid job because the doctors are not well paid? Are you ready to sacrifice your financial?
I'm not materialistic.
Yeah, I'm not materialistic. So you combine both materialistic and non-materialistic.
Well, your
not
firm is paid for you.
fully materialistic or fully non-materialistic. All right. Dasha, please.
Well, I like to show off, I like to stand out in a crowd, and I like to be noticed. And I want to do something.
To be the public eye.
I want to do something really important for the humanity, maybe. Well, I don't think that I will do maybe I will do volunteer work, but I'm not sure, and I surely don't want to go in the politics. But I think someone else will do this.
All right. Okay. Tonya.
So I'm a materialistic person and I don't want to help someone. So in a global.
Globally. Yes, you do not want to help the whole world.
Help people who are close to me. My friends, my family, of course. But I went on success and I want to build a career and to reach some materialistic goals.
All right. Thank you. Thank you for the lesson.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Goodbye.